Michelle was all in everything she did, not just performing, but with her friendships and with her kindness toward others. She would always reach out to anyone and find the good in everyone. She didn't limit herself to a circle of friends or the girls that people thought were maybe the most popular. Her kindness was just 100%. And she was the same way about the love of her family. We all could tell she was Danny's little girl. And she and her mom were so close, especially when you were sick. She was your rock. I don't think she minded being the only girl with brothers. She loved her brothers, but with all those girl cousins, she was just fine with that. But especially when you all were faced with so many obstacles and loss in her family, you all grew stronger and closer than ever. Michelle was 100% about her faith. It was evident that she had a strong relationship with God, and she believed in the power of prayer. And we try to understand, as we all try to understand, heal, and remember. I challenge that we all try to live free like Michelle, whether it be in a performance, school, work, relationships, friends, family, kindness, or faith. Let's give 100%, be all in, a big smile on your face, and dance like no one is watching.
I'm Rick Rafferty. I did not teach Michelle, but I had her in the student council. Michelle made me want to be a better man. I aspired to be like Michelle Chalk. She was joy and light. How can I summarize the impact that she had on others? Maybe it's with this story. A few weeks ago, Michelle and Robert were working on a service project at Crossroads Church. They happened to meet our dear friends Jeff and Roberta and spent a few hours working with each other and getting to know each other. When I next saw Jeff and Roberta, they shared their experience with Michelle and said the things that would be said about her if you had the same experience. Fast forward to this Saturday. I was golfing with Jeff, and he asked what I was doing this weekend. I forgot they'd met Michelle and told him I was preparing to speak at a funeral for this really great kid. He wasn't aware of Michelle's passing, but somehow we put it together, and he asked, Isn't that Michelle that we met a few weeks ago, is it? When I said yes, he instantly burst into tears. I've known him for over 30 years, and I've never seen him cry. This 60-year-old man, who had spent only 4 hours of his life with her, was so moved by the news of her passing that it caused him to instantly react with tears. In student council, she worked with her dear friend Derek Carter on a fundraising campaign that lasted 4 to 5 months. They raised money for breast cancer in honor of her mother and all the other women who experienced breast cancer. But true to form, she did it differently than other people. They spent weeks decorating the boxes and generating publicity. But here's where Michelle put in her spin. They said that because cancer is such a long-term disease and such a quiet one, they would have a long-term and quiet campaign. Yes, there would be initial publicity, but for the following months, they would be quiet. I warned them this would likely result in raising little money, but they were okay with that. But oh, you should have seen the joy when someone contributed even a single dollar. What did I learn from her through that experience? It was to receive gifts, regardless of how large or small, with joy. It was also to put your whole heart into something without expecting or needing significant results. I also learned that compassion for others can be expressed through a variety of methods and is its own reward. We have heard a litany of accomplishments and qualities that Michelle has. I'm reminded of a movie that I show my students. It's Gandhi. And there's a scene in that movie, many wonderful lessons can be learned from that. But in this particular scene, honestly, Gandhi and his wife are having an argument. And in that argument, she essentially says, we cannot be as good as you. And here's the clincher for me. And we don't even want to be. Well, the priest said something I wrote down. I think this is the phrase that he used. We feel things, but often don't act on them. I can't be as good as Michelle, but I do want to be. She's an incredibly accomplished girl. But what if her greatest accomplishment has not yet been achieved? What if her greatest accomplishment is that because of her example, we change? You and I change the way that we live. I commit to you and I guarantee that in the coming days, months, and years, I will emulate Michelle in ways. I hope you will do the same. If we do that, we not only honor her memory, but her legacy lives on through us. We've lost Michelle, but we can carry on her legacy together.
Hello, I'm Lee Gatens. As of about 5 hours ago, I am the assistant principal at the high school. For the past 2 years, I've been the assistant principal at the middle school, and it is there where I had the honor to get to know Michelle Chalk. I've said many times over the course of this past week that there are moments in life that are clearly defined as a turning point, one where you have a certain perspective before and another afterwards. Michelle's passing is one of those moments. Our lives have been forever altered, but it is not lost on me, and hopefully will not be lost on all of you, that this is actually a blessing. As selfish as it feels as I write this, I don't think I would have realized what it truly means to live free like Michelle. Michelle brought more joy to people in her short life than most do in their 80 or 90 years. And it makes me stop and wonder, how is this possible? The only answer I come up with has quite literally stopped me in my tracks quite a few times over the past week. Michelle was a gift from God. There is no truer sentence I have ever uttered in my life. I have alternated from weeping to laughing, as I'm sure have all of you. Because as sad as we are to be here today, when we think of Michelle, we can't help but smile. Michelle was pure joy, pure positivity, and pure radiance. Her smile lit up any room she was in, and her laughter was infectious. When we started High Five Fridays at the middle school, Michelle was the first one in line, not just giving high fives, but recruiting people as they walked through the door. And they stayed in line with us simply because she asked them to. As all of you have seen over the past week, Michelle impacted more lives than any of us really realized, I think. We knew she was special. Michelle didn't walk, she danced. Her hugs brought a warmth that enveloped you. When I saw her at the Getting Ready Day and was able to give her one last hug, I said later to someone that it felt like her arms were still around me. And I still do. I feel like they are around all of us now and will continue to be so for the rest of our lives. I am so grateful that I was able to be in her light for any amount of time. And as I stand here, I selfishly want more time, because it is hard to think of a life without Michelle. It's almost unfathomable. But we don't get to choose how much time we get to spend with someone. What Michelle has taught me is that what we need to do is appreciate every second we have and make the most of it. That is how Michelle lived her life. She never missed an opportunity to help someone. She never missed an opportunity to try something. She brought an intense and passionate energy to everything she did, from school to performances, to volunteering, to friendships. She had a dignity and grace that came naturally to her, one that we should all strive to embody. Michelle did not fit into any one type of mold, because gifts from God don't fall into any one category. In our darkest moments, we need to remember the happiness that Michelle brought to everyone she met. Even in the briefest encounters, Michelle left you feeling really good. And so I ask that you join with me in giving thanks to God for sharing his angel with us for as long as he did.